the Krishna Yajurveda, there is a Shakha, Taittiriya Shakha. And in that we have Taittiriya Samhita, Taittiriya Brahmanam, Taittiriya Aranyakam, and Taittiriya Upanishad. So this Taittiriya Upanishad, within that there are three parts, which are called Vallis. Valli. And first Valli is Shikshavalli. Shikshavalli. Shikshavalli is also called Sikshavalli. Sikshavalli, another name is Shikshavalli. So there are many sub-parts which we can call chapters in that. And 11th chapter, remember, 11th chapter of the Shikshavalli, it contains 4 mantras. Those 4 mantras we are going to study here. Why? Because in that part of Sikshavalli, we will find the basics of Dharma. The very basic teaching. What to do, what not to do. And see, these teachings, that is applicable everywhere, all the time. There is no doubt in that. That we will understand when we study that. And it is just like a manual to lead our life. See, we are purchasing in this world, we are buying many gadgets. We are purchasing many machines, vehicles, many things. So before using, what we will do? Or we are supposed to read the manual. If we are using that gadget without knowing how to use, what will happen? See, when I was a small boy, studying in the first standard, I think, or second standard, not more than that. First or second standard, a news came. In our village, one man was working in Persia. See, in those days, if you go to Abu Dhabi or you go to Saudi Arabia, you go to Qatar, you go to Bahrain, people would say, you are gone to Persia. In those days, I don't know how many of you are remembering. So, this man was working in Persia, and the news came, he came back from Persia with a tape recorder. So, there was no tape recorder in the village. Nobody saw how a tape recorder would be. In those days, some people would be walking through the public road carrying radio sets, transistors. In high volume, they will put it and walk through the public road. It was the practice then. But there was no tape recorder in the village. So all the children were that much happy. Oh, we are going to see a tape recorder. Then, immediately after hearing the news, I myself asked permission. The parents, they said, oh, you can go and see. So the whole night I was dreaming how it would be. So next morning, early morning, I started. Then what I saw, there was a huge assemblage there in front of that man's house. And so many were coming. I would say there were some 400 or 500 people Huh? That much eager to see the tape recorder. So in front of we small children, somehow manage to be in the front. That you can understand. So we were eagerly waiting. So there was in front of his veranda a big table, and on that table a tape recorder was there. Even now I am remembering a big one. It was written Panasonic. So we were that much eager to see and hear, but this man started lecturing. So he said, I will put this on, then you will hear the voice of Yesudas. It will be such a nice song, this, that. He was telling. So we were praying, let him stop and let us have that put on. Finally, he put the switch on. We are expecting Yesudas singing. But what happened, All on a sudden, boom, a sound came and smoke. Just like a lightning and thunder, smoke and sound. Finished. All the children there cried and came back to home. No music, nothing. You know what happened? In those days, now that problem won't come. Because now all the sets are having that span from 80 volt to 250 volt. But in those days, in the Gulf countries, the voltage was 110 volt, and in India, even now it is 240 volt. So there was a selector switch. There was a selector switch. You have to select 240 when you operate that in India. And see, outside the box, it was written in bold letters, read the manual before using. And above the tape recorder box, there was a paper in which it was written in bold, big letters. Read the manual before using for the first time. But this man didn't read. Without reading the manual, he put it on and gone. See, after all, that is a tape recorder. He can buy again. He can purchase it again if there is money with him. But just think, we are with the precious, most precious gadget. We are here with this human body, the most precious machinery we can imagine. Veda itself says, Purusho Vava Sukridam, Purusho Vava Sukridam. The human body is that much. Sukridam means well done. So we can translate, this is the best machinery ever made. So we are having this. If you do not know how to use it, if you do not know the manual to use this, what will happen? That is happening everywhere. We are seeing that is happening everywhere. So there is a manual, and this manual of life, our rishis gave to us with all compassion and love. We had it for many, many millennia. But if we are not studying, with whom the fault is? That is why our acharyas ask us to swadhyayan ma pramadaha, or swadhyayat na pramadidavyam. You must not go away from swadhyaya. That means you have to, or you must learn Shastras daily. Daily we must study, we must learn our Shastras. 24 hours we have a day. We have 24 hours. At least 24 minutes can't be set apart for our studies. This is the question. If we can, we will have success in life, whichever be the walk of life. Whatever be the job we are doing. There is no doubt at all. So this manual, in a short form, we can have in this teaching, which forms part of Taittiriya Upanishad. So before entering to that, a little more introduction is required. See, earlier we had Gurukulas, and after Gurukula, those who want to study in higher courses, they can go to shalas. There were many shalas, different shalas. Shala is more or like a university. So different streams would be taught there. And there were many shalas. Many shalas. So one can stay with the teachers and study. So after finishing his studies in the shala, he can go back to family if he want. Or if he is for accepting sannyasa, that also is possible. So after completing studies in a shala, there are two ways in front of us. One, accepting a householder's life. The other, go to sannyasa life. This was the practice, this was the custom. So 99.9% would accept grihastha-ashrama. It must be so. It must be so. So before going back to home or the family, the Kulapati is the head of Shala. In the language of the present day, it will be like a chancellor or a vice chancellor. He would call everybody and give a final teaching. Actually, it is not a teaching, it is make the student remember. When you go back to your home, how should you live? What are supposed to be done? What not? So all this to make the student recollect what he had learned all the years. It is just giving a code of conduct. If you are not following that code of conduct, then you will not be considered as a dharmic person. And I don't know whether the Shalas had the right to take back the degree. I don't know. I don't know. It must be there actually. If you are not following the code of conduct, supposed to be followed, then the university can take back the degree. Such a rule is there? I don't know. No. It must be there. It must be there. So this is the code of conduct. This is a final words of the Kulapati when the student go back to home to lead a family life. So that part is there in the 11th Anuvaka of the first Valli in the Taittiriya Upanishad. There are only 4 mantras which we can study very quickly, with ease. So that part we are taking this time. So before entering to that, I think if you want to ask anything regarding Dharma or Upanishad or the teaching of the Upanishad, because we are not going to learn Upanishad now. We are not going to learn Vedanta. We are taking a small part in which Dharma is taught. So, and of course, this is the first session and we have to decide what are the time schedules. All these things we have to decide because this is the first session, we don't have formal inauguration. So just as an introduction, we discussed all these things. So as I said earlier, there is no formality at all. We can decide. If you want to ask now, you can ask, or otherwise after some time, then we can come together and you can ask.